It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
You know what time it is. That's right. Wednesday, April 26, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network.
Woodward.
Sports.com. WoodwardSports.com.
Network.
That's right. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. One day away, baby. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain because I know what's going to happen after the draft goes on. We're going to get into June, and we're going to look it up, and we're going to be begging to have something to talk about. So I'm good, man. I'm taking it today at a time.
This is a funny business, Tom Mazawey, because everybody's sick of the mock drafts. Everybody's sick of saying the same thing. For Maz, it's his Playboy magazine.
I got Collinsworth today.
You get a new Tom Mazawey gets a new mock draft. It's like getting a new Playboy magazine. Remember
this
those
April,
back in the day?
This April.
Yeah. It's going.
Back in the day, I had a few of those hanging in my room.
Very good. But yes, no, in about a week and a half, it's like sayonara. There's nothing left to talk about.
We can look back and see all the mistakes.
Right.
That would be fun.
But that would be fun.
Yeah.
But as Braylon Edwards came into the studio and mentioned, maybe the Tigers will give us something to talk about over the course of the summer.
I'm just saying maybe. At the end of the day, it's not going to be great, whatever it is. But, I think Scott Harris, he kind of talked about strikes, talked about our hitters being bad last year. Last year, we were traditionally horrible, or we were historically horrible as a hitting situation. This year, swing at better pitches, get on base. I think that's the thing Scott Harris has been focusing on. And then for the pitchers, throw better pitches. So I think that's what they've been doing. And right now they're on a better trajectory in terms of strikes. Strikeouts and plus or minus on
base
strikeouts,
percentage,
something like that. Yeah. I think they're in a better situation than they were last year. So small wins. It may not be pretty. It may be ugly, but it's better.
Let me tell you about the Tigers.
Tell me about the Tigers.
As ugly as they are, I kind of like them.
You like the guys on the team.
They're like a ragtag bunch. They're like the Bad News Bears.
Like the Cleveland Indians of
Major League.
Yeah, you can say that, can't you?
There's a few guys on this team that I really like. And if they get some more pitching like Eduardo Rodriguez is doing, their bullpen's one of the best in the league. They're doing what they have to do. They're playing one-run games. They're down 3-0 today, though, but they're playing one-run games.
Can you just keep me interested in the summer?
Yeah.
Just keep me interested through the month of May at least.
I'm going Friday.
It'll be a great game.
Yeah, I'm going Friday. They play the Orioles.
Yeah.
They play the Orioles tonight, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow night, during the draft, they play the Orioles, which was not probably a smart thing.
Over under 9,000 people.
Yeah. Probably under.
Tomorrow,
probably
right?
Under.
A lot of people are going to be downtown, though. Maybe is there a Ford Field party tomorrow night or anything like that for the NFL draft?
There are parties.
So. Yeah.
There are parties going on downtown. I think you'll have some people downtown. I think some people might go to the game. You have some of those people do that.
Hey, we got 1 year to Detroit.
I think
1 year.
I can't wait for that.
Look at this.
I cannot wait for that.
Lions put that out.
Is that 1 year today? 1 year ago? 1 year from now today?
1 year from today,
Is that April 26th?
Yeah.
It's going to be a great event. You're going to have millions of people downtown, I think. You're going to have millions of people downtown in Campus Martius.
My kid's already asking me, Dad, you guys are going to be down there? I'm like, hell yeah. They're like, can you get us in? I'm like, of course I'll get you guys in.
Campus Martius, Hart Plaza, up and down Woodward. It's going to be great.
It is, and I just want to see them make fast progress. I think, it's one of those things where people are coming to check out our city. It's going to be, as you said, it's going to be all 32 teams here to check out our city, upwards of 1 million, if not more. I want our city to look good. I want our city to represent. I want the hotels to be clean. I want the hotels to be looking right. I want everything that they can build from now till next year. I want it to be built. The things that you can't build, scrap those ideas. I want them to set it up so it looks like something, and I want them to be hospitable. This is something that we've been talking about. We've had the Detroit Gaming Commission on a couple of times, thanks to Maz, and they are doing great things for our city. They're trying to bring great things to our city. We have to do our part. When I say me, that's everybody downtown, that's everybody who lives here. We got to make sure that we knock it out the park because we want this to be something to steamroll 2024, 2025. And we expect the Lions to be good, right? We expect the Wings to be good, and hopefully the other two will follow. So we want our city popping, and it starts a year from today.
Mother Nature's got to help us, too.
That would be great if the weather would cooperate.
We'll take
if it's
this.
like
Today's
today,
nice.
I mean, it's
today.
beautiful out there today. Guys, 30 hours from now, the wait is over for 2023. all of them. I just snorted live on the air right now. It is
was
what
just
it is.
air, though.
It was just air. Yeah, exactly. But 30 hours from now, the NFL Draft 2023 will take place. First pick, a lot of people believe it's going to be Bryce Young. We'll see which direction that goes. We will be live tomorrow, of course, during our show here 2 to 4, and then we're going to head over to Royal Oak and do a draft show with pretty much the whole team here at Woodward Sports. We're going to be at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Should be a lot of fun. I think last year we did it at the Brass Rail. This time it'll be in Royal Oak. It's right down the street. Shoot, we're at Maple and 15 now. You just go a little bit further, and it's right at 11 and Woodward for the most part. So, but it's going to be fun, man. People are going to be there. It's going to be interesting. You have DJ, we'll have music, and at the end of the day, we'll get to talk some Detroit Lions. And finally, we'll get to see what the Detroit Lions do in the first round, because it's the whole first round. Let's call it a spade a spade. It's not just pick 6. It's not pick 18. They can move back, forwards with either pick. So we'll see what they do. We'll be there covering it, and we'll be live and on the air.
We're going to have a lot of fun today, too, Tom Mazawey. We're going to talk to Russell Brown,
yes, sir.
NFL draft analyst. We're going to play a game called not Truth or Dare.
True or
False. We're going to do that. And why would they draft? Insert name here. Braylon has been scouring tape. Before we get to that, Braylon, is there a player that you watch that just completely jumps off the page at you, and you know for a fact that guy is going to be a gold jacket?
Yes, it's two of them, man. And one is Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter jumps off the page at me. And I know we keep talking about him, and yes, everybody knows that Jalen Carter is a player that I haven't steered away from. I haven't steered away from that position, and I haven't steered away from that player. Jalen Carter was the best player 2 years ago in the national championship game, and that just sticks in my mind. I was able to watch a lot of his film. I mean, we've had since January to pretty much watch film on these players. Watching Jalen Carter, man, I know he is going to be a man-child at that position. And slightly short, I think Dalton Kincaid is going to be a Hall of Fame player.
Really? The tight end from Utah?
I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame player because I think he has the potential in terms of speed. He has speed at the tight end. He has damn good hands. He doesn't drop anything. He can run the routes. He's also a good blocking tight end. And I think it's one of those situations kind of like not blocking like a Jason Witten, where you got a guy that's a little bit slower but a really good tight end. Jason Witten will probably go into the Hall of Fame. But I think a little mixture of the way Gronk was fast and could block. Gronk was a strong blocker. I think when you think blocker, you instantly think slow. You instantly think a guy that runs 4.8, guy that's going to stand in there, has good hands.
Cement shoes.
Exactly, and that's not the case with Dalton Kincaid. So those two players, I think, be out on the lookout for it.
Will?
Honorable, you said what?
Will Anderson?
I don't know.
Wow.
I just don't know. I'm telling you, man, it was something to see someone take a step back like he did that year. And it's not as if you look at that Alabama defensive line and defense 2 years ago, and they had some team where a ton of guys went in the first round, and then you come back this season and he didn't have the same players. They had the same team, and he just chose to gain more pounds this year. He chose not to have 7 sacks this year, and he got exposed. And not only in the Tennessee game, got exposed in a couple other areas where I saw he didn't really look like the guy that I saw 2 years ago. So I'm worried about that. Kalijah Kancey is also honorable mention. Gold jacket for me.
I didn't hear Bijan's name.
He's a running back. Now, running backs aren't getting gold jackets anymore. Like, it sucks to say, running backs aren't getting gold jackets anymore. Todd Gurley had 80 touchdowns in the span of 5 years. We don't even talk about him anymore. 80 touchdowns in 5 years, and we don't talk about him.
Who drafted him?
There you go. There you go. Brad Holmes and Josh McVay.
You know, it is
Sean McVay.
It is fun to watch all the talking heads, or forget about talking heads, just sports fans in general. Everybody knows what's best to do for their own team or a player that they like, where they should go. And I had some time this morning. I was there with my phone, and it was me and my phone in several hours. And I went through and I looked at just about every mock draft, just about any pundit or expert that you could possibly find. Everybody's got a different opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody likes somebody that doesn't like somebody. And it was a great reminder that I would love to know truly how these NFL general managers go about their business and what their boards look like. I would have loved to have seen a glimpse of the board on Hard Knocks. even a depth chart board or free agency board with the Detroit Lions. Remember, they would always blur those boards out, and you wouldn't see. Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't see who was on the board, who Team A liked, who Team B.
By the way, Hard Knocks up for an Emmy.
Oh, they should be.
Up for an Emmy.
Aiden Hutchinson and Billie Jean get maybe an Oscar.
Those are our guys.
Either
HBO
way,
guys.
Yeah. Either way, I would love to know how much is accurate and how much is just all smoke. How much people do these mock drafts, and then you got an NFL general manager. There was a player. God, what's his name? He was a Nebraska corner, I believe.
Fabian Washington?
No, years ago.
That's Fabian. Well,
and he ended up going to the Giants. But
sure he was Nebraska corner?
Maybe not a Nebraska corner.
UCLA.
He went to the Giants. He was a cornerback.
I feel like he went to the Giants.
That's LSU.
Damn it. It was about 12 years ago.
All right, but go ahead.
Either way, maybe 10 years ago. And everybody had him pegged for the Lions. Everybody had this particular player pegged for the Lions. And come to find out, the guy wasn't even on the Lions board. They took him off the board. But you didn't see a mock draft that didn't have this guy, this cornerback, pegged to the Lions. And it's just kind of stuff like that where I would really love to know how much of that goes on.
A lot of it goes on. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, and now more of it goes on than ever. Look,
Prince Amakamura, that's it. Jack Stark, you win. Prince Amakamura.
Oh, nice. Prince Amakamura. Oh, yeah, he ended up playing for the Bears.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did. Prince Amakamura. He actually got exposed with shout out to you, whoever
Jeremy Lalonde. Awesome. Jack Stark. Awesome. Love you guys.
He got exposed with the Giants for a couple of years, and then he left and had more success with the Chicago Bears.
They won a Super Bowl with him, though.
He did. Yeah. Well, not because of him, but with him.
He was on that team.
And so I mean, at the end of the day, right now, it's GMs are second guessing themselves more now than ever because there's just so many outlets now. Like GMs, you would think that GMs are above reproach and things that go on with the mock draft here and this person's mock draft and that person's mock draft. Well, this person had something shocking about this player. They tend to look and follow pretty much everything. I think now more than ever, it's becoming harder for them. I was listening to Frank Reich earlier today doing an interview. Frank Reich was talking about the evaluation process. He said, continue to evaluate through the whole process. Don't fall in love with anybody early. That's their mantra. That's what they've been preaching down there in Carolina, is not falling in love, making sure we do all our homework, all our due diligence. Basically, that means they're listening to all the same stuff we're listening to. They're tapping into the Todd McShay 9.0 mock draft. They're listening to Mel Kiper's last big board and making sure they got the right draft pick. But you know what else that tells me about Frank Reich is continue to evaluate, never fall in love too early. That means you don't like this draft. That is exactly what that means. Because you cannot tell me that if Peyton Manning is sitting at number 1, you're not drafting Peyton Manning. You can't tell me if Orlando Pace is sitting at number 1 or various other players. You can look at the draft. If those guys are sitting there and you have a specific need, the fact that he said, and then I quote, continue to evaluate, don't fall in love with any player too soon, that means they don't really like this draft. They just have to make a pick.
They traded to get up to number 1.
Because they wanted to control the draft. There's one thing when you're sitting where you are and you can't control the draft, where you move to 3 with Arizona, but now you still can't control what Chicago is doing at 1 and what the Texans are doing at 2. When you move to 1, you now are in control of the draft and you have the chance to evaluate through the whole of the process and look, which guy are we going to take? Who is the guy for us? That's why you go to number 1, because it's only 1 or 2 players. And you go to number 1, you control it.
2 points about that I want to make, because I think you make a great point about that. I want to expound on that next. But first, a message. And news regarding Tyree Wilson today that would cause me to take him off my board. We'll have that. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your kid, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey gang, WoodwardSports.com. Go there for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and of course merchandise. Lots of great merch there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. You could be sitting right there on your couch watching Woodward Sports on YouTube, right there on your 70-inch television or whatever the case may be. Maybe you're sitting at work watching on WoodwardSports.com. However you're consuming Woodward Sports, we thank you so much. Braylon, I want you to read that quote from Frank Reich, who is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, who controls the number one pick of the draft. Read that quote one more time.
Frank Reich, when he was being interviewed earlier today, or maybe it was last evening or yesterday evening, he basically said, our motto has been, you don't want to fall in love too fast with a pick. You want to keep evaluating through the draft process.
Two things about that. Number one, that goes in line with that current NFL GM who remained anonymous, who said if you have 15 first-round grades, it's a crappy draft.
Yeah.
He said he had less than 15 first-round grades on somebody. So maybe Frank Reich is in line with this guy.
It's real. It is 100% real. If you have 15 grades, it's not a great draft. If you're Frank Reich, number one pick, keep in mind, you guys moved up. They moved up to number one with the Chicago Bears. They gave them a haul. They moved up so that they can control the draft. And still, this is what Frank Reich is telling you. He said, hey, don't fall in love early. Make sure that you continue to scout throughout the draft process. If somebody was really there for you, if somebody was really there that you moved up, you would know who that is. The fact that they're like, well, the GM came in, he gave me a note, I looked at the note, and we agreed on what that pick was. How long did it take you to get there? You basically looked at this draft and said, damn, not him for this reason. Damn, not him for this reason. Everyone's trying to talk them into a player. With the exception of Jalen Carter and maybe Will Anderson Jr., everyone's trying to talk themselves into Tyree Wilson, talk themselves into insert player here. You're trying to talk yourself into that pick.
Apollo on the chat says, although this could all be a smokescreen, you don't do a smokescreen at one.
You're number one.
Yeah, you're number one. You don't do a smokescreen at one. You just take the guy you want.
It's not about a smokescreen. Someone doesn't say, hey, man, at the end of the day, you just keep scouting the process. You keep trusting the and no one says that.
Right.
If this is a great draft. If Peyton Manning is in this draft, you're not talking about, and I know I keep going back to him, but I'm telling you, if there's a player that a team really, really likes, they're not talking about
Trevor
keep
Lawrence.
scouting.
You use Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
You knew he was going number one, 100%.
Right.
You remember a few weeks ago, about over a month ago, when they were sitting down with C.J. Stroud, the Panthers? Mm-hmm. Remember they were talking to him, and you heard in the background, oh, yeah, we're going to put a basketball hoop up for you. Probably. Yeah. You remember?
Yeah.
We all said, oh, he's the number one pick. He's the number one pick.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, last week, Bryce Young leaks, his agent leaks, it's all over. I'm not visiting anyone anymore. I'm the number one pick. Yet Frank Reich ain't saying anything yet. He might still trade that pick. And C.J. Stroud might still be their quarterback.
I don't think you can trade that pick because I don't think there's a quarterback in this draft that somebody wants to trade up to get.
Yeah,
That's the problem right now that Carolina is having. I think they might have traded up to number one, Braylon, because they wanted to have the ability to scout all four of these quarterbacks themselves, get their own evaluations, and then take the best player that they could find. And I think what they've come to find is that all four of these quarterbacks, or at least two of them, they don't have any separation there. So I don't think that Houston or Tennessee or Atlanta or Detroit or anybody else who may be looking for a quarterback, maybe Detroit's not a good example, but anybody who's looking for a quarterback is that obsessed with a quarterback that they would want to trade up to pick. Just take the one that falls to you.
This just feels like this feels eerily similar. This draft feels eerily similar to when the Pistons had to draft Cade Cunningham. You can tell me what you want to about Cade Cunningham, how he's going to be the future when he gets back from injury, what he can do. He's a leader, both sides of the court. He gets it. We had to talk ourselves into drafting Cade Cunningham. Let's call a spade a spade. And I think this is what's going on with the Carolina Panthers. They're in a situation where they need a quarterback. So if you just start with the quarterbacks, this guy's too small. Bryce Young is super small. I am not going to lie. He is the most efficient quarterback. He is the best quarterback in this draft. Bryce Young is tiny. Like, even with the smaller quarterbacks, they were thicker. They were bigger quarterbacks. Like, Baker Mayfield can take a hit. Kyler Murray can take a hit. Like, you even look like these small Russell Wilson. Like, you look at Bryce, looks like a couple of hits. He looks like he catches Hassan Reddick coming off that edge. Might not be pretty for Bryce Young. You look at C.J. Stroud. It's the Ohio State quarterback thing. You break down the Ohio State quarterback thing. Will Levis, is this guy too big? Does he just have the big arm? What's up with his accuracy? Is he too in love with himself? You hear what he's talking. It's going to be me. Is it this guy? I don't really like his film. Is it going to be you can keep doing that for everybody, and they're sitting at one, and they've been racking their brains with the number one pick for the past month plus.
Another part of this, too, that I don't think you can underscore is, you hear Frank Reich's quote, maybe Will Levis was onto something.
Yeah.
Maybe they are feeding something to Will Levis, because he'd be the third quarterback of the four, Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker notwithstanding. I want to include Hendon Hooker because Hendon Hooker might be the best quarterback of all of them, to be honest with you. And because he's hurt, he's not getting much love. It's starting to come, but when you look at your eyes and you watch the film, Hendon Hooker might be better than all of them put together.
And he's almost as old as Jared Goff.
And that's fine. But he's not. He's 25, and maybe he'll be ready to be on the field at 27. It's neither here nor there, but what I'm saying is it feels like Carolina has told Bryce Young, has told Will Levis, has told C.J. Stroud that they're all going to be the number one pick, and maybe Bryce Young's agent went a step further when he was told from Carolina that they were going to be the number one pick to say, you know what, we're not doing any more visits. We know we're going to be the number one pick of Carolina.
It's crazy. It's one of those things where we have assumptions. I believe it's Bryce Young. I believe because of things I've stated, it's Bryce Young.
So do I, by the way.
You're right. Yeah, we believe it's Bryce Young. But you just never know. I mean, if you look at it, you can talk. And Ryan, we've talked about this. You can talk yourself into anybody at this particular point. You can look at Will Levis and say, hey, he's the one. Look how tall he is. He's the guy that can see over the line. He's the guy with the big arm. Look at Anthony Richardson. He's the guy that reminds me most of a faster Josh Allen. You can talk yourself into anybody right now, and that's why tomorrow at 7:30, man, it's gonna be fireworks. It's gonna be fireworks.
There's no question about it, guys. I wanted to get to this too. I don't know how many people saw it on Twitter. I did not see it until this morning when I was going through a million different things. But this is Dr. David Chow. Dr. David Chow, anybody that's on Twitter, you watch a football game, a player gets hurt, and Chow's up there with a video diagnosing the injury almost immediately from the television screen. Well, he has a video out talking about Tyree Wilson's foot injury. I'm going to play this video for you. Here's what he had to say.
It could be, but the question is, with the hardware out, was there additional hardware put in? Was there failed hardware? This almost sounds more like a revision surgery on Tyree Wilson. Of course, this is all speculative. Who knows where he's going to go in the draft? But our eyes are going to be Tyree Wilson. We're not going to be surprised if the foot causes him to fall some. We hope not. We hope he's fine. We hope he can have a great NFL career. But as we look at the injury pattern in the video, we have our suspicions that he may be the biggest slide and the biggest unknown.
So David Chow, ex-NFL head team doc for 17 years. You saw Junior Seau jersey back there. The Chargers were one of those teams. And there were a lot of coulds there. There were a lot of maybes there. There was the word speculation in there. Those three words in that 42 seconds of video. However, if I am the Detroit Lions, I am not taking Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson is off my board because of a foot injury or anything else. Could you imagine if this is true, if Chow is right, and it's a big if, but if he's right, the Lions would take Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, Josh Paschal early in 2023, and then Tyree Wilson in 24. Only one of those guys potentially would be on the field for him.
No thanks.
You can't win like that. I am not taking an injured player at all. No surgeries, no nothing.
Before that,
That's me.
Can we get better synopsis on what this exactly is? Like, what exactly is this? I see a former doctor talking about a surgery that Tyree Wilson may or may not have, a revision of surgery that it may have been. Like, what's going on here? Because I didn't see. Like,
he didn't have the video for it, but he was talking about a potential foot injury.
Why is he talking about it?
I don't know.
But see, this is where I get leery on this video, and this is what we're talking about in the text. And if that's the case, then that's fine. Then you don't need Tyree Wilson anywhere. There's a host of other players that the Lions could draft, and I would be out on them too. I don't think you need to draft another injured player. We've seen what's happening with Pascal as well as Mitchell, as well as Jamison Williams. But why is he doing this video? If he was a former doctor, why is he providing knowledge on Tyree Wilson?
Oh, he's got Twitter followers.
Yeah, that's what he does now. He's on. Yeah. He's
so
on
he just
Twitter.
comes out of nowhere and like docks somebody's draft status.
Well,
pretty much.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. That's what I was looking for.
Thank you. You know what? We're talking about him, right?
Yeah, because I'm just like it seems like random information by not a random individual, but it seems random that he's randomly talking about. Yeah, let me tell you about why Tyree Wilson shouldn't go. It's like, who's paying you to say this?
So in the YouTube video, there is footage of the injury. Because he links that video to a YouTube clip of his injury.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of funny. I'm like, why is he hating one? Like that, to me, that's hate.
Right. But like you don't see that in the Twitter clip, but if you click on the YouTube link he
talks over it
on that. Yeah. So he kind of talks about that. I just and that's fine. And let's be very clear on this. The Detroit Lions doctors are doing their own evaluations medically, and they are not drafting a player based on any Mel Kiper or any David Chow's analysis of it. Yeah. But it brings up an interesting point if you're a Lions fan. I can't have an injury with a guy in the first or second round. Can't do it.
I put it to you like this, Ryan Ermanni. This is what I would say to that. I can't do an injury on a guy that before January I had no idea was going to be in the top 10. Mm-hmm. I can't draft a guy that has an injury that still, as I'm looking at him, this is a reach. By the way, this is us saying we hope that Tyree Wilson and his 7.5 sacks this year and the 6.5 he had the year before that are going to measure up to the ceiling that we have leveled to him. The fact that I have to reach on a player like that, and he may potentially have an injury that he tried to fix, I wouldn't do it. Because you're basically reaching, and you're reaching on a player that is injured. At 6, this isn't reaching on Josh Paschal in the second round with pick 42 or wherever it was last year. This is reaching with a guy with the 6th pick overall. No thank you.
And again, the injuries to these guys, and I go back to what your former general manager said, Mike Tannenbaum.
Mike T.
An injured college player is usually an injured NFL player, and he might be on the field for a 6-8 weeks, handful of games, but then have to sit out for 2 weeks. Josh Paschal, he might come back healthy this year, and you know what? He might have to sit another month. You know what I mean? Like, these injuries they add up. So that's just a rule that I have with this year's NFL draft. Guys, we are going to play a little game we call True or False. We're going to do it next. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
All right, Chili Peppers Tanning. You know the deal, guys. You got to get down there and start looking good and get that vitamin D. You got to. Start looking good as well as my man Braylon walks into my commercial here. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Check them out. You know what time it is. If you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning, and you get the cleanest salons in the D. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, gang, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Join us in our NFL Woodward Sports Draft Party tomorrow. It is going to be a great night at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. You can get tickets for this event on Eventbrite. Attached to my Twitter. Of course, go to Woodward Sports, all the different social channels. They have those up. Or just show up at the door, $10 to get in tomorrow. The Woodward Sports NFL Draft Party. Tom Mazawey, I know you're always looking forward to that. You're going to be crushing a couple of beers tomorrow, Tom Mazawey?
You know that's not true, but, I'll definitely have a great time and maybe crushing some mozzarella sticks or something.
Oh,
maybe some
you
nachos.
Like that. Have we decided where the pre-show dinner is going to be yet?
Not yet.
I think I know this area better than you guys.
I think you do too, man.
I'll come up with something for us tomorrow.
All right, very good.
I got 3 spots I'm between right now.
Okay.
I got 3 spots.
How about a little Hyde Park?
You got Hyde Park money?
No.
That's great.
I was hoping you guys did.
No, we do, but you know what I'm saying. We'll figure it out.
I want to spend some of that draft money of yours.
I want to spend some of that Chad Johnson money.
Hey, guys.
Tim.
Hey, I wanted to play a little game. I invented a game.
You did.
I invented a game. And I'll even
like Thomas Edison.
I'll even take a little beat for the game.
Thomas
Edison.
Right. I'll even take a little beat for the game, JB.
Music in there.
I have not introduced JB or
Fletch
today.
Give me some Wu-Tang.
Play Ryan's favorite jam.
Give me a little Wu-Tang. We got a little Wu-Tang. I don't know if we have the rights to that Wu-Tang, but
show my hand.
Okay, here's my game. I am going to make a statement, about the NFL draft, and you are going to tell me whether you believe the statement is true or whether the statement is false. Are you ready, Tom Mazawey?
You know it.
I'm going to start with Braylon Edwards here.
Oh, wow. I get the
ready?
Okay, first out again, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm on the clock.
Here's the statement. There will be 3 quarterbacks off the board by the time the Lions pick at 6. True or false?
False. False.
You want to expound on that at all?
Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. I still think C.J. Stroud will be in that top 3 pick, and I still think Bryce Young will be the number 1 pick overall. I think Will Levis and I think Anthony Richardson both could fall. I think they really could. Tom Mazawey.
Yeah, they're long gone.
Okay.
Long gone. I don't care what anyone says, except you, Fred. But I think quarterbacks are going. You could talk them down. Do whatever you want. Teams want rookie quarterbacks. By the time the Lions pick at 6, at least 3 are gone. Top two for sure. Well, Houston might trade that pick. I still believe Will Levis will go number 2 to some team.
All right, we're gonna do a snake draft, like a snake. So Tom, you get the like a fantasy football draft. Tom, you get the second question first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Tyree Wilson, guy we just talked about, will be the first defensive player drafted. Is that true or false?
That is false. He is not going to go the way of Trayvon Walker last year and pass Aiden Hutchinson. I do believe Jalen Carter and Will Anderson have a little bit more cachet than him. And if they listen to Dr. David Chow, Tyree Wilson's dropping like a bad stock right now, Braylon.
Braylon Edwards, Tyree Wilson will be the first defensive player drafted. True or false?
False. I don't think there's any way that you can look at You know, if you're really, and I said I had some questions about Will Anderson Jr., but there's no way you could look at the film of him last year and even the film he had this year, and then Jalen Carter's film and know what he brings, and draft either one of those guys, and not draft either one of those guys before you draft Tyree Wilson. So no, Tyree Wilson will not go before those guys.
How about you answer it too?
Okay, I would have said true before I saw Dr. David Chow's video.
Really?
And the reason I would have said true is because I think this time of year, these guys talk themselves in and out of stuff like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
It is the overanalyzation of the real evaluation, the re-evaluation of these players. Talked in, talked out. Everybody in the room's got an opinion on this guy, that guy. So yeah, I would have said true, and now I think false, but I could change my mind.
Even with, can I
Yeah.
dig on that? Even with Tyree Wilson, let's say that this wasn't true. Let's say that he's completely healthy and this is a little bit of Michigash, if you will. The reason why I said it's still not similar to Trayvon Walker last year is Trayvon Walker came out of nowhere last year. But Aiden Hutchinson came out of nowhere last year as well. And you look at Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau also kind of didn't really play the year before that. And then that year alone, he didn't play a lot. He didn't play against Ohio State. He only played against 7 games that year. So I think that one was more so, I see a guy that's played all 12 games. I see a guy, I know a guy take a chance. But you're looking at this guy. I mean, this year, you're talking about Tyree Wilson. He's the guy that's the reach. Meanwhile, you watched Will Anderson 2 years ago and what he did. You watched him even last year. And then the same for Jalen Carter. You watched him 2 years ago, national championship game. And then what he do this year? Another national championship game. This one's just a little bit different than that one last year because you're talking about 2 guys that have been back-to-back All-American consensus.
By the way, Philippines On Demand, our good friend.
Yes.
It's 2 a.m. where he is. He
Yes.
says you're swaying again.
I know. Philippines On Demand, I appreciate you, and I recognize it. I will take the constructive criticism. You're a great,
Nice.
you're a great fan of the show. I appreciate you,
that.
and I am taking your criticism to heart. I'm going to try to stop swaying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Me too.
Go to question 1 then, Ryan. You didn't answer that one.
Question 1: 3 quarterbacks off the board. I think 4 quarterbacks are going to be off the
There you
board.
go.
I really do.
Oh, so the answer's false. 4.
Yeah, right.
So if it's
That's
4, then
true.
I'm still right.
That's right. Still false.
All right, Braylon's up.
No, here's the question.
Yeah.
The Lions will take 2 defensive players with their 2 first-round picks.
Ooh.
The Lions will take 2 defensive players with their 2 first-round picks. True or false?
This is where I've wanted the whole time. I've begged for 2 defensive players. False.
Yeah.
I think it's split. I definitely think it's split. I think it's going to be a defensive player early. If that pick is at 6, it's going to be a defensive player, whatever pick it is, whether it's a defensive back, whether it's one of the defensive linemen at that pick. It's going to be one of those 2 positions at 6. And then 18, I think you find your offensive move. Like whether it's moving up in the draft for Ryan's Bijan Robinson pick, what he want to do there. I think that at 18, if you get your defensive player, 18 opens you up for an offensive pick at 18.
Tom?
Well, you know I want offense, but it ain't going to happen. They will take 2 defensive players.
Ooh.
I think they'll take Witherspoon, and then at 18, they're going to take
Kansi.
whatever D lineman or linebackers is there. That's what I think they will do. I think they'll play it safe, and what I mean by safe is take the players they know will help them in the next few years. Right. I don't think they're going to probably reach. I would love them to reach for Anthony Richardson or someone like that. It ain't going to happen. So I do think 2 defensive players are going to the Lions.
I think it's false. I think before it's all said and done, I'm not sure if it's 6, if it's 18, if it's 14, if it's 12, if it's 20. I do think Bijan Robinson will be a Detroit Lion tomorrow night at some point, at some number. I just think the guy is a different kind of player that helps Jared Goff, A, and B, kind of solidifies this Jameson Williams loss over a 6-game stretch and protects you against everybody. Yes, the Lions have David Montgomery, but how long will they have DeAndre Swift? Protects you against that injury as well. I think it's
what if Gibbs fell and Bijan ain't there?
I think they take they take a running back at some point.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift is definitely going to be an in-season move. I think moving forward with DeAndre Swift, Ryan, I think they're going to assess actually says exactly what you said. Can he move into the slot, play some wide receiver, do a lot of mixture of other things, kind of like the Chiefs use McKissick a little bit, if you will, or McKinnon, excuse me. So I think they'll give that a chance, give that a try, and if it doesn't work, they'll see what they can do moving him in the season.
Can I revise myself? I don't think they take Gibbs. I think Bijan is here, and I think Gibbs and Charbonnet and everybody else is a notch below. I don't think you just take a running back to take a running back. I think you take a running back because he's that running back. Just my opinion.
Yeah,
here
Gibbs
you go.
Is a lot better than Zach.
Exactly.
Zach Charbonnet, though.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this one. But I'm going to go for it anyway. Braylon, this to you? But this is to you. We're going to make it to you.
Okay. Okay.
Who are you coming to?
Maz.
Okay.
No, Maz, I'm going to Braylon. C.J. Stroud will be the 4th quarterback taken.
I think so. I think so. I think he'll be the 4th quarterback taken. Look, I think damage has been done in this draft process. I think a lot of owners, a lot of GMs, they really put a lot into that S2 test, that cognitive test. How fast can a quarterback make a decision? How fast can a quarterback get the ball out of his hands when he's got Von Miller staring at him, when he's got Aaron Donald coming at him, when he's got Chris Jones coming at him? So I think that is very alarming for them, on top of the Ohio State stuff. These quarterbacks from Ohio State, you see what's going on in the past. Dwayne Haskins, J.T. Barrett, Carlo Jones, the list goes on. I think that has to do with it, because now you're taking Bryce Young 1, you've seen the proof with him, and then Anthony and Will, you're looking for that upside. You're looking to hit big. Hey, look, you bet big, you win big, and I think that's what you're going to do with Anthony and Will. And I think C.J. Stroud, I think he suffers because of it. He's the 4th guy taken.
Yep.
C.J. Stroud spoke to the media today, and here's his quote. "I'm not a test taker. I play football. I know I'm one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think you could play at Ohio State and not be smart." He's going to be a top 2 quarterback taken.
I won't comment on the last thing he said, because Andy Katzenmoyer proved that, that's not true. But I love the confidence.
I like the kid.
I'm not, and when I say the S2 test, like, I'm not putting stock in that. But I'm telling you, nowadays, the analytics are more than ever. They put major stock in it. So I just think that it's going to go down. I hope it doesn't, but I think it is.
I want to stay consistent on that. I agree with him. I don't care about any of these other tests at all. I mean, the kid can play football and put on the tape and see what you think about it. But doesn't matter what I think. If all these NFL general managers are seeing players who score low, none of them usually work out. None of them. I mean, I don't think there's one that worked out. That is a red flag.
And also, just listen to this description. This is the description used to describe C.J. Stroud yesterday. He's Jared Goff, just younger and shorter.
Okay, guys, this is my last question. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Maz, I'm going to go for you first because Maz, this one just because it has nothing to do with players.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I think
there will be 1 or more trades in the top 10 of the first round.
Yes, there will be 2, possibly 3 trades. Tennessee's coming up, and I think Arizona's going down. I'm not sure if they're going to get together. There might be some other teams involved in this. The Lions might be involved in this. I predict there will be at least 2 trades in that first top 10.
Something feels like Arizona does want to trade out of there, Braylon, but I'll come to you for your official answer. There will be 1 or more trades in the top 10 of the first round.
There definitely be 1 or more trades. There actually could be as many as 3.
Hell, Philly's in there.
I was about to say there could be as many as 3 in the first round. I mean, in the first 10 picks you're talking about in this draft. I mean, you're looking at a team like Tennessee wants to get up there. You got my surprise team who, when we do 2 bold picks, by the way, you guys ready for that, the 2 bold pick segment? When we do 2 bold picks, you'll see another one of my teams come up there. And I think there's another team that's already in the top 10 that's going to trade up. So I think there'll be 3 moves, no less than 2 in the top 10.
I do think Arizona wants to trade out of that pick and take an offensive lineman. And you can't take an offensive lineman at 3. You just can't do it. The value just isn't there. You can get the lineman at 10, 11, 12,
13,
whether it's Paris Johnson or Skronsky. You can get a guy like that. It's a really hard position to take in this particular draft.
In the offensive, the guard, Dewan from Ohio State as well.
Absolutely.
There's some players in there.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to continue along with our NFL draft talk. We'll talk to Russell Brown coming up at 3:15. But next, Braylon, I'm going to come to you. Why would you draft? Insert player here. We're going to go down the list of players that Braylon has watched, and he will give us why the Lions would draft these players. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing:
stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
Number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call him today. Tell him Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party, live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, gang, Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Get on down there. Start off with the classic breakfast items, such as the strawberry hotcakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. If you're not feeling breakfast, it's lunch and dinner time, maybe a snack in midday. The strawberry bacon chicken wrap is outstanding, and the refreshing Summer Splash salad. We got to get down there to Big Boy, don't we? We got to do another remote there. Don't forget to grab dessert and their very delicious classic strawberry pie, the deep fried Oreos, or the strawberry hot fudge cake. All at Lukey's favorite place, Big Boy.
Loves that hot fudge sundae. You know what time it is. That's right. Guys, Russell Brown going to join us, NFL draft analyst. He is going to do that at about 3:15, about 30 minutes from now if you're not watching live. National Scout, NFL draft analyst at Russ NFL Draft. We'll talk to him in 30 minutes. But now we'll talk to ourselves.
At least it's 5 of us.
Right, exactly.
Well, 3 for sure, but it's 5 in here.
Exactly. By the way, I want you to head out to 5th Avenue in Royal Oak tomorrow night for our NFL draft show. Party starts at 7 o'clock. We will kick off at 7:30, and then, of course, NFL draft. Come watch it with us at 8. You can buy tickets at the door or on Eventbrite. All right, Braylon Edwards, why would the Lions draft? That's what we're going to do. Why would the Lions draft? Insert player here. So we're just going to go down the road. Usual suspects. You've been watching these players, really doing a lot of homework on them, so we're going to take advantage of that. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button for us. Nearly 700 live viewers right now. Let's see if we can get to over 125 likes this next segment. Hit that like button for us. Maybe you're watching at work, on your cell phone, however you're doing it.
Help us out.
Thanks so much. It helps YouTube push our content out, so we thank you for that. All right, Braylon, why would the Lions draft Will Anderson Jr.?
Wow, what's not to love about Will Anderson Jr.? You got a guy that's powerful in terms of the way he gets off the edge. You put him on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, man. You're talking about funneling everything through the middle. You're funneling everything into there with Aleem as well as Isaiah Buggs. So coming off the edge, he's a man-child, knows how to get the quarterback and play in space. When he was a little lighter 2 years ago in the national championship game, he was able to drop in coverage as well. You saw how fast he was able to get from edge to sideline. Edge to sideline is major when you're dealing with a lot of these little screens. You saw a lot of that little stuff that the Chiefs like to do. You saw it work in the Super Bowl, those little plays like that, little come in, back out, things like that. Will Anderson, he can watch and monitor those things, and he'll do a great job chasing those things down. So you put him opposite, damn good job. I mean, he's a player. He's a guy that you're talking about, Hall of Fame jacket before the season.
Kid would have been #1 pick last year. That's all I got to say. One year doesn't make a man. He might have had a back step this year. Things just happened. I give him another chance, and I would take him in a New York minute.
Braylon Edwards, why would the Lions draft Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter is a missing piece, I think, for this defensive line. He's anyone's missing piece that doesn't have a guy that can just blow up the middle of the field. He's taking on two. He's taking on the center as well as the guard. He's wreaking havoc in there. There's nothing that you can do over the middle. Forces everything to the outside. So now he's forcing the gameplay to Aiden Hutchinson. He's forcing the gameplay to Houston and Pascal or whoever's going to be there on the right side. He's going to destroy that. People don't run the ball anyway, but for those teams, the Eagles, who are going to run a lot. They're going to use Jalen. They're going to use Isaiah. They're going to use Gainwell. They're going to use whoever the hell the running back is for them. Miles Sanders last year. They're going to use a lot of that up the middle stuff. He shuts all that down, and he makes one-on-one situations for Aiden Hutchinson.
I don't got to really expound on that. He's a horse.
Yeah.
He's a horse. Any team that gets him is going to be lucky. And you know what? If he takes a play off here and there, who doesn't?
Simply put, he was the best player on the field with a guy that went #1 overall last year and a guy that went 15 last year, and Jordan Davis and Jacoby Dean. The list goes on. He was the best player on that team, and that was 2 years ago.
Braylon Edwards, why will the Detroit Lions draft Tyree Wilson?
The upside. I think it's the upside. You put him, look, how tall is Aiden Hutchinson? 6'6", correct? Well, Tyree is also 6'6", 6'7". So you put those two long-armed individuals on opposite sides, you're reaching right there, man. That's great. Also, he comes inside as well as outside, Pauls. He's a guy that can play inside and get the one-on-one matchup. And now you're able to use guys like Houston. Now you're able to use guys like Pascal a little bit more because some of the matchup things that you create, and also change your 3-4 to a 4-3. So, and I think the upside, he hasn't played very long. That joker is fast. If he's not injured, he's going to be good for somebody.
Nah.
That's not what this segment is, Maz. Thank you. We're not. We're going positive on these guys. Why would they draft?
Because we just always focus on who are they going to draft.
All right, let me change my answer.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, very good. Thanks for your contributions to the segment here. Braylon Edwards, why would the Lions draft Christian Gonzalez?
You only have one cornerback on a multi-year deal as Cam said. As Cam said, is the only DB that you have on a multi-year. That's 3 for $33 million. I want to say you need DBs. This league is about to get better fast. Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne had a really good year last year as well. You got Romeo Doubs as well as Christian Watson out there with the Green Bay Packers. This is a league where you got to have somebody shut down that #1, and you got to have a guy that's fast, that's athletic, that's strong, that has height. Christian Gonzalez has all those things, and he plays in one of the two conferences where you want to get DBs from. You want to get them from the SEC or you want to get them from the ACC, because that's the conference that sees wide receivers. They see a ton of passing. So Christian Gonzalez, he gives you a DB that you lock in for a full time.
This is a great year to want a cornerback. It really is. It's cornerback heaven. It's corner heaven. And I love this kid.
Yeah.
When I heard him at the combine speak, the interview, I just said, man, I do like this kid. And I don't really want to take a corner. I've got corner disease, obviously. We didn't do real well a few years ago.
Right.
But that ain't his fault. That's not this kid's fault. And if you need a corner, you got him and Witherspoon. Why the hell not?
I'm so glad you said that. Maz. What happened with Jeff Okudah is not DBs that come after. It's not his fault. What happened with drafting injured players is not Jameson or whoever comes after. Everything is case by case, Maz. I'm glad you said that. Be leery of Big Ten DBs, though. Wide receivers in the Big Ten right now, outside of Ohio State, not that good. They're not going up against that type of competition. Jahan is different. But Penn State, though, they always kept some good wide receivers. We had one. Leroy Butler some years back, but Darius Butler. But yes, in the Big Ten right now, not a lot of big receivers, not a lot of receivers that are going to be first-day guys. So be leery of Big Ten, the competition they've seen.
I do like the nickname Spoon, though.
Don't worry, gang. We're getting to the fun names momentarily. But Braylon Edwards, why would the Lions draft Devin Witherspoon?
Devin Witherspoon. Same thing with Christian Gonzalez. The thing with him is different. He's more physical. You look at the NFC North. You look at going to Chicago when it's cold outside. You look at Green Bay when it gets cold outside. You want those guys that are physical, those guys that don't mind playing in November. He's one of those guys. Big Ten DBs, Big Ten players in general. Usually stronger and usually can put up with more, have better playing tolerance as well. But he plays safety as well as DB, as well as inside. He can play outside, inside. He can play on nickel. He moves around a lot, and I think that's what gives him that versatility as a secondary player. I mean, you saw Charles Woodson late in his career. Charles Woodson was a hell of a DB for the first 10 years of his career. Charles Woodson won defensive MVP playing safety. So you got a guy like that has that versatility, and he's coming from the same school that Kirby Joseph played at.
That's what I like. They played great together in college. Why not play great together in the pros?
It's something about watching players that have played together in college. Watching the Knicks, I know you hate basketball, but watching the Knicks,
we don't hate basketball.
I'm joking with this one. Jason Hart and Jalen Brunson.
I just don't bet on it anymore. I used to love it.
Smart. Jason Hart and Brunson played together. Villanova won 2 national championships. You could watch them play in the playoffs. You could tell they've been playing together for a very long time, bro. They're at where they're supposed to be.
Can I just say this about the DBs too? I've been so anti-DB this entire
Emmanuel
draft
Mosley,
season.
Cam Sutton, they both played at Tennessee.
I've been totally against drafting a DB this entire draft season.
Starting to come around.
Not that I'm coming around, but I do think ultimately if you had what's a good analogy in 2023? If you had a gun to my head, screw it. If you had a gun to my head,
got you. Trying to be politically correct.
Yes, I was trying to be politically correct, and I'm just not that kind of guy. If you had a gun to my head, I would say that the Lions.
If you told me, bet this on my life.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
thank you.
I
don't know if that's even better, but I do think they're going to take. I do think they're going to take a defensive back, probably. Yeah. Like if you had a gun to my head, I would say that Brad Holmes is going to take one of the corners.
Yep.
One of the corners, and you know what? It'd be boring, but boring is good. Boring is good.
Just give me a good player.
Right, exactly. Okay, we talked 5 defensive players. Let's talk about 3 offensive ones, Braylon, I want to get to in the remaining time here.
Sure.
Okay, tell me why the Lions would draft.
Did you invite this? Did you...
You keep screwing me up here. What are you saying? What is going on?
Did you invent this game as well as true and false?
No, Braylon invented this game.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, Braylon invented this game.
I sent it in. I said, because, it's clown emoji. We're always talking about who's getting drafted, but we never get a chance. We talk about why the Lions would. So.
Right. Okay. Let's go to 3 offensive guys. Braylon, why would the Lions draft Peter Skoronski?
Well, Taylor Decker's contract is coming up at left tackle. That's something that you want to be mindful of. I don't think they want to pay Taylor Decker again. I think he served his purpose for the Lions. I think he's done well, but I think you can move on from Taylor Decker. If you got Peter Skoronski, you got a guy that can remove him and you not miss a beat. Not to mention, he's actually a better guard. So you're talking about bringing in Bijan Robinson. You're talking about David Montgomery. What that offense is going to be like. Well, you bring in a guy that can play guard at the way in which he does. He's a hell of a pulling guard. And you basically lock up your offensive line for the better part. Now you have Skoronski. Now you have Johnson. Now you have Penei Sewell. Now you still have Frank Ragnow, who that'll be another decision at a later date. But you basically have that offensive line that's going to be in shape for the better part of 6 to 7 years, 5 to 6 years. So I think it would be an interesting move, but that's why you would do it. You shore up that offensive line, which right now, what is the strong suit of the Detroit Lions? It has been the offensive line. Why not make the offensive line stronger? And you get a guy that can, once again, play tackle as well as guard. Notice, Brad Holmes is loving players that have multiple uses. You hear Lucas Van Ness, that's a guy with multiple uses. You hear the Arkansas linebacker, multiple uses. He's an inside linebacker as well as an outside linebacker. You hear the tackle from Tennessee. He's a guy that plays tackle. He started off playing guard. Multiple uses is becoming the theme for Brad Holmes.
Hey, they got a lot of money invested in the offensive line. Someone's not going to get paid. You got to bolster it, and Skoronski would probably be an easy fit.
Going to carry this one over because I want to not rush through the next 2 names that I'm going to ask you. And you know exactly the next 2 names.
I know it's coming.
I want you to tell me why the Lions would draft Bijan Robinson and why the Lions would draft Anthony Richardson on the other side. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Guys, listen to me out there. Are you feeling tired, depressed, unmotivated, low sex drive, muscle loss, belly fat? You got it all going on. Maybe all of those things. Testosterone optimization therapy is a safe and effective way to restore your vitality, your confidence, your performance, and reduce heart disease. Visit CustomHealthCenters.com today. CustomHealthCenters.com. Right now, you can click over 877-965-0910. 877-965-0910. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full-line merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed-out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hour number 2 of the program here, a day before the NFL draft. We cannot wait to see how this football team is going to get better, Braylon Edwards, because this football team will get better. We invite you all out tomorrow night to 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. It is the Woodward Sports draft party. $10 at the door. Get you in. Come on up. Say hello. All that great stuff. If you cannot be a part of that show in Royal Oak, please tune in to Woodward Sports here tomorrow, 7:30. We'll be live on the air. Caller on the air. Braylon, good stuff.
On the air.
You guys excited for that?
I am. It'll be fun. I like the excitement. I think I want to talk about this in open, but it works better in the second hour of the show. Is, do you remember the energy when they drafted Aiden Hutchinson? You remember the energy of the city? You remember the energy downtown Brass Rail where we were at last year? Do you remember the energy around when Brad Holmes moved up to 12?
God.
When the pick was in, they move up to 12.
I thought they were getting Malik.
And you're like, oh my God, they're about to, and I just remember that energy. That's what I'm excited for again this year, because a year later, the energy is actually even more. And it's not because it's not because this is the Super Bowl like it always has been. It's because it's going to make the team that did good last year even better. So I'm excited to see what the energy is.
All right, Braylon Edwards, here we go. We're going to continue on with the game. I got 2 names for you. We'll start with one. The game is, why would you draft? There is nothing negative about this, people, if you're just tuning in. Why would the Lions draft Bijan Robinson?
You hit on it. Yeah, you talk about it all the time. Now is the window. I think you talk about what the Lions did last year. Last year, the Lions finished 9-8. They almost made the playoffs. They were this close to being a playoff team. Now is the time. Everybody always says 4 years from now, or you're waiting for the figure to playoff. Yeah, the playoffs are in play right now. The Lions have the best chance, or the third best chance, to win the NFC, or to represent the NFC as it relates to the sporting books right now. So if that's the case, you got your offense. You got Jared Goff. Jared Goff proved himself last year. You got an offensive line. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Once the suspension is up, you'll have J-Mo. You'll have Marvin Jones. Those 4 tight ends. The defense that you keep making better. You got to get a guy that can hit the home run play for you. You got to get a guy that's that guy, and that's Bijan Robinson. You saw what he was able to do at Texas. He can hit the home run from 80 out. He can hit it from 40 out. You're talking about a guy that knows how to play down in the red zone. It's guys that they do little screens for, little check passes to. 436 yards out the backfield 2 years ago. I think 300 last year. He catches the ball out of the backfield, somebody that you can trust. That's how you win. You want to win now, you need a special player. Well, this is that special player on offense. You need an offensive player that's special. He's that player that can be special for you. You can design an offense around him. And I think the system they have in play, he already fits into, because the system was designed for DeAndre Swift. He's a DeAndre Swift type back, but he's an actual better running back than DeAndre Swift, if that makes sense. That's why you draft him, is if you want to win now and you need that offensive playmaker now, it's Bijan Robinson.
If you want a sure bet, you draft Bijan Robinson. If I can give you a sure bet, like last week when I gave you the Bucks and the Warriors, he's a sure bet to put a team over the top, to put a team to make him feared like no other offense. He's the guy, hands down.
But it also works.
All pro.
But and Maz, I agree, but I think it all also works in the system. If you look at Zeke was a damn good running back coming out his first year. If you put Zeke in a different system, you get where I'm going with that. You put Zeke in a different system, Zeke had an okay first year. He wouldn't have had 1,600 yards.
Right.
He wouldn't have gone over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Exactly, but the system was perfect for him. Not Ohio State. He went to Ohio State. The Dallas Cowboys line was the best line in the NFL at the time. Dak Prescott ends up being a quarterback that right now, since he's been in the NFL, he's 6th in winning percentage, so he knew how to win. You had Amari Cooper. You had tight ends. You had players. So it worked even more because the team was ready for him. That's all I'm saying is the Lions are ready for Bijan, so to work right away as opposed to some team that's not ready to draft Bijan.
Oh, don't take a running back that early. That's a waste. Yeah. You're getting it all pro.
You know, if you look at Zeke, I just pulled up his numbers.
Yeah.
1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, 1,000 yards in 983 yards in 10 games. He got injured. Second year, but then third year, 1,400 yards. Fourth year, 1,300 yards. The guy's a friggin' beast.
But the thing you didn't look at, look how many receiving yards he has as well. He was over 2,000 yards from scrimmage as a rookie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
See, I was waiting for you to see that.
Wow.
And look how many touchdowns.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 receiving touchdowns in the first 4 seasons.
So now you see where I'm going. Like, this is what you'll be able to get out of Bijan Robinson. Something like that is, man,
I don't think you could call a guy like that a reach. I just don't.
Like a sure thing? Yeah. Like a sure Pro Bowler.
How do you call him a reach?
It's because the people listening, the people watching, the people like us, we're all watching and listening, etc. Nowadays, what they tell you becomes real. So because the scouts have said you don't have to, because the scouts and the coaches and some radio show hosts and some nut jobs have said don't do this. Once they say don't do that, that's how people operate. You know what? Don't ever draft a running back in the top 5. Don't do it. And they've been saying that since Darren McFadden. Darren McFadden, after him, I think he went 4th overall. He was the running back where they started saying no longer draft a running back in the top 5. Darren McFadden, that experiment didn't all the way work out. Every once in a while, there's one you take a chance on. There's Christian McCaffrey. There's Ezekiel Elliott, or there's Saquon Barkley. This would be that chance would be him.
All right, Braylon Edwards, here you go. A couple people in the chat have asked for it. At least I know one of them. Maybe it's the same person, but here you go.
He just changed the screen name twice.
Yeah, right. Why would the Lions draft Anthony Richardson?
He is the future. He is the quarterback of the future. He is the quarterback that you see now. You see the quarterbacks that have success, the quarterbacks that are getting paid. Big arms, mobility. You look at the Patrick Mahomes. You look at the Josh Allens. You look at the Jalen Hurts. You look at the Lamar Jackson. The list goes on. The quarterbacks that are getting paid, they're mobile. They can move out the pocket. They got the big arm, and they make decisions fast. The ceiling on Anthony Richardson. You got a quarterback now that you can win with. You got a quarterback now that actually, he made some plays last year. He looked damn good for the Detroit Lions. He's not a quarterback that's going to take you to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff, he's not going to be the best player on the field, but throughout the course of the season, Ryan, how many times will Jared Goff be the best player on the field?
Not many.
Never. I would venture to say 0. 0 times Jared Goff will be the best player on the field. Anthony Richardson, if he hits his ceiling, he will be the best player on the field probably 12 out of 17 games. Like if he hits the ceiling that they're projecting him at, he's going to be the best player on the field 12 out of 17. Hell, if you want to say 10 out of 17 games, that's still more than enough games for me. Has the big arm. He has shown you that maybe his accuracy is a little overblown. Maybe it's a little better than you think. He has confidence. He wants to be that guy. If you have a system in place where you can guide this guy, you can do right by this guy. Sounds like Mark Brunell. Sounds like Ben Johnson. Sounds like Dan Campbell. You reached for Anthony Richardson because if you're right, you got the best quarterback that maybe could have ever played by the projections, if you will.
Hey, I've always been a guy that took a chance. All right, I moved here in 1993 with no job, not a lot of money. I just had my mattress on the roof and some signed football helmets in the trunk. I'm not afraid to take a chance. Anthony Richardson, to me, is the unicorn of this draft, and I would take him with the first pick if I had the first pick in the draft. And I really don't care who's laughing. I really don't. He's going to be the best player in this draft, and you're going to be sorry if you pass up on him. That's all I got.
He's going to be really good for a number of years. That's what you think when he gets on the field. I mean, I
don't need him now.
Right.
And that's the other thing. And the other thing is, and Maz, I'm glad you said that, you don't need him now. You have Jared Goff. So if you make a move for him, however you want to package it, you made a move, you get Anthony Richardson, you draft him, you don't necessarily need him this year. If you got him this year, then that lets you know how damn good he was, but you don't need him this year. He gets a year to sit up underneath you. And hell, at the end of the day, let's say the experiment doesn't work. You took a shot, it didn't work, but your team was in the best space that it had ever been for you to take a shot like that. This is called a calculated risk by Brad Holmes, and it will be the first calculated risk that the Detroit Lions have ever taken.
And I got my next pick at 18. Where I actually earned that pick.
Can I add something to this Bijan Robinson, Anthony Richardson discussion?
Yeah.
The defense is not that bad. Don't be fooled by the season numbers for this defense last year. There were a lot of young guys. There were a lot of younger players that developed and got better. And I go back to that 1-6 start. In that 1-6 start, the Lions gave up an average of 32.1 points per game. You give up 32.1 points per game, your record's 1-6. You know what happens when your defense improves? In the last 10 games, the Detroit Lions gave up an average of 20.2 points per game. You know what happens when you allow 20 points a game? You win 8 of 10. That's what happens. And I just think that this defense, with the signings on the back end that they had, with the development of guys like James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, Malcolm Rodriguez, those 4 players alone, and the 3 signings that they had on the defensive backfield, the addition of Josh Paschal, another year under his belt, maybe a training camp under his belt. He didn't even have training camp last year. I don't think you can underscore how good this defense already is. And I'm not saying don't draft any defense. What I'm saying is you don't have to draft defense early in this draft. You don't have to take defense with pick 6 and 18. It just doesn't have to be like that. And Brad Holmes even said, the cupboard is not bare. No, I just gave you the numbers.
Yeah, I'm glad you corrected yourself, too. You said with the addition of the players that they had in free agency, because that team last year, that defense, it needed help. There were a reason why they got hot towards the end of the season. When you get to December and some teams aren't playing for anything, those games tend to be a little bit easier. So you can't place complete stock in that. But at the same time, they definitely got themselves better in the offseason. The secondary is going to be loaded right now. But at the same time, there's still some positions. There's still the linebacker position. There's still interior defensive linemen, and they still need one more defensive back. But there's something no one's talking about. But there's another way to acquire players that no one's talking about. Everybody's so caught up in the draft. There's still players in free agency. That's what people are forgetting about.
No doubt about that. And yes, one of the guys in the chat did mention Tracy Walker. They did not have Tracy Walker. He, too, will be an addition this year to the team. But we could talk about that next. We're going to grab Russell Brown, NFL draft analyst. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference yourself today. You could visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods, one of my favorite places. Grab and go steaks, or you can order online. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Hey, if you're watching us live, we can't thank you enough. Hit that like button. Over 750 live viewers right now on YouTube. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate your comments in the woodwardsports.com chat as well. Let's get to over 200 likes this segment if you can. Just tap that like button. Helps YouTube get our content out to more people. And if you can't watch live, download our podcast. Leave a 5-star review anywhere and everywhere podcasts are available. You could find us there. We'll track down Russell Brown, NFL draft analyst, in just a couple of minutes. But Tom Mazawey, I do want to come to you for around the NFL. Lots of news to get to, including Mr. Rodgers.
Yes.
Mr. Rodgers showed up in New York today.
Let's show you what that looked like. Aaron Rodgers walking through the doors of Jets headquarters, and a lot of people were happy to see him, and he's very happy.
Woody Johnson.
To see everybody. There's Woody Johnson & Johnson, by the way. There he is.
He looks weird in that sweatshirt. I don't know if I'll...
Who, A-Rod?
He kind of looks like Joe Flacco a little bit, doesn't he? Yeah. Just doesn't he look like Joe Flacco?
All white guys look alike?
Yeah, they do. Like these white guys. Anyway.
Watch Robert Saleh.
He's so happy.
He already went for it. It's funny because he played for Matt LaFleur for the past 4 years, and now he's playing for Robert Saleh. They're best friends.
Yeah.
So it's going to be
He gets his quarterback coach back.
He gets his quarterback coach back. He also gets – they didn't have to give up the first-round pick. They also have a second-round pick. The Jets are in good position. Now, as far as them being number 3, odds to win the Super Bowl, I need everybody to pipe down on that. But they are in good shape, man. They didn't have to give up that first-round pick, and they got a second-round pick. That's pretty good.
Hey, he wrote a note to the fans of Green Bay, and I should have printed it, and I did not. We'll put it up for you guys anyway. It's probably way too small.
Way too small and
for
too
us
long
to read. But it is an homage and an homage to Green Bay.
Everybody.
And how much he digs them and how much he's going to miss everybody there. That's all he played for, obviously, fresh out of college. Drafted in Braylon Edwards' draft, and here he is today, now playing for Braylon Edwards' old team.
He stole my life. He stole my life.
You should still be there with him. Hey, he's got number 17 standing right
That's
next to him.
what I was going to ask you about. Yeah. What do you make of him putting a picture of Devontae Adams next to him? That's instead of like him by himself, or even him with
Cobb.
Yeah, Randall Cobb.
I think we were trying to we're always looking for something.
Yeah. It's a talk show.
We're always looking for something.
I am always looking for something.
That's his buddy.
You know why he's in that picture? Devontae Adams, last 4 years there, what did Aaron Rodgers do? He won 2 MVPs. That's why he's right there.
All right, guys.
By the way, Russell said he is on his way. Just give him a minute.
He's here.
He is. Okay,
I just got the thumbs up. You got to pay attention more. I just got the thumbs up from the great Fletch.
Pay attention. I'm doing 3 different things here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, everybody on the show is doing 3 different things.
Yeah, right. Anything I'm doing over here.
Exactly.
Hey, let's get to the VMix line now. NFL draft analyst at Fantasy Pros, friend. Lions Wire as well. Our good friend, the very great, the very knowledgeable, the one, the only, Russell Brown. How you doing, my friend? What's going on? 24 hours away, essentially.
I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve right now. One more sleep to go. Can't wait to get going. Appreciate you guys bringing me on. It's always fun.
Russ, why are you so excited? Like I was just talking about the excitement in Detroit, and I get it. But why are you particularly so excited about tomorrow for the Detroit Lions?
I mean, Braylon, I don't know. I go back to when I was a kid watching you getting drafted, watching you tear it up at Michigan. It's just like, it's just what it's about, man. It's just been something that's always been so intriguing to me as a kid, and to be able to do this professionally, it's pretty wild. And like if I would have told myself 9-year-old me that 21 years from now, 22 years from now, you'd be sitting here talking to guys like yourself and Ryan and going across the country and being able to do this, like I would have been like, no way. And it's just you put in all the work and here we are. I mean, I remember sitting in the stands at the Senior Bowl watching practice, talking with you guys, and here we are a few months later, and it's all that hard work. It's finally here. We're going to see what's going to happen.
Hey, Russell, can I play a game with you? I did this with the guys earlier, and I think this would be fun, where I did a true or false game with the guys. I'm going to ask you the same exact questions, and if you want to expound upon it, you can. But true or false, I'm going to make a statement about the NFL draft. You tell me whether that statement is true or false. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Statement 1. There will be 3 quarterbacks off the board by the time the Lions pick at 6. 3 or more quarterbacks off the board by the time the Lions pick at 6. Is that true or false?
That is false.
Ooh. Wow. All right.
Do you want me to go in detail?
Yeah, you can. You can if you got a quick nugget about it. Quick nugget.
Yeah, so ultimately I think there's going to be 2 quarterbacks in the top 10. I don't think we're going to see 3. I think, the interesting names will be C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson. 2 of the 3 are going to fall. I just don't know where. But, I don't see where 2 fit in the top 5.
Question number 2, Tyree Wilson.
That was also my answer, by the way.
It is. Braylon is over here back going like, yeah.
And I'm waving you off.
That's my guy.
Question number 2, Tyree Wilson will be the first defensive player drafted.
False. I believe it'll be Will Anderson going 2. And, I mean, again, I've heard a lot of links to Tyree. It makes sense. You think back to last year, Trayvon Walker went 1. We thought Hutch was going to be off the board, but it ends up being that type of thing. So it could happen, but I just think Will Anderson's the best player in the draft, and I think he's very much overlooked because of whatever reason. So I think he makes a lot of sense for the Houston Texans there, too.
All right, Russell. The third question. The Lions will take 2 defensive players with their 2 first-round picks. True or false?
Man,
good questions. I'll pat myself on the back.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to say false. I think we could see. Call me crazy, fellas. I think we could see a scenario where potentially Will Anderson, Devin Witherspoon, and Jalen Carter are all off the board, and I could see them playing it safe at 6 and maybe go with Peter Skoronski. I could also see a scenario where obviously one of those guys is available. They take that defensive player at 6, and then they end up going with an offensive lineman at 18, or maybe a move down, and maybe they're able to land a receiver if they want. So I would love to see 2 defensive players. I think offense and then defense is the direction that they go, or vice versa.
All right, this is my last true or false question, then we'll get the fellas involved.
Go ahead, brother. I'm involved.
There will be 1 or more trades in the top 10 of the first round. True or false?
Man, that's a tough one. I'm going to say true, just because the trend has been that there wasn't any last year. There was 1 the year before that. There was none the year before that one, and then there was another one. We've only seen 2 in the top 10 over the last 4 years. So I'm going to say that's true. There will be 1. And I could see it being either Philadelphia moving up or Philadelphia moving back. And I could also see it being a situation where maybe even our Detroit Lions move back from 6 with maybe a team like Tennessee if they want to jump up for a quarterback, if that's the case.
How about Arizona?
Maz, I don't know. I could see them moving back. I mean, it makes sense for them, but it's so hard to get that deal done. And are they really going to take a jump from 3 to 10 or 11? There's a lot of draft capital that a team like Tennessee, they've only got 6 picks. Philly, they've only got 6 picks in this draft. I mean, sure, they could give up future assets for next year, but I struggle with that one a lot.
All right, final question. I lied. Last question of the true or false. C.J. Stroud will be the 4th quarterback taken. C.J. Stroud will be the 4th quarterback taken. True or false?
That's false. I think he's either the 2nd or 3rd. I think he's either the guy at 4, or I think he ends up, if he does slip a little bit, I think it could be maybe at 7 to Las Vegas. I have a hard time believing he makes it past Las Vegas.
Fair enough. What is your sense on the where the Lions go here? I mean, the thought is Russell, and we are talking to Russell Brown, NFL draft analyst, Fantasy Pros. You could follow him on Twitter at RussNFL Draft. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, man, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, to me the two preeminent players in this draft. What if those guys are gone? I mean, where are you going? And is it simple to just take one of the corners there? Is that boring? Is that the right thing to do? What is your sense on the eve of the draft, who this team selects at 6?
I mean, I would be pretty stunned if they ended up going with Jalen Carter. I'll be honest. I mean, it's possible, but I just have a hard time believing it. I think ultimately, we see something along the lines of Devin Witherspoon if he's there. Again, I've heard a lot of things Monday into Tuesday about the Arizona Cardinals really liking him, and when you put it together, he makes a lot of sense at 3. When you look at their roster, their starting corners are god awful. They got rid of Byron Murphy. Marco Wilson, one of their corners, he gave up 96 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 11 touchdowns in 2 seasons. That's not good by any means. So I think that he's a liability, and they could look to upgrade there, and Witherspoon does it. So with the Lions, though, I mean, I think they could either go Witherspoon or Gonzalez, and then ultimately I think the safe pick is Peter Skoronski.
Russell, talk to me about the wide receiver position. Everybody's making a lot about the wide receiver position for the Detroit Lions because of what's going on with Jameson Williams, the 6-game suspension. That probably is looking like 6 and not going to be appealed to 3. So do the Detroit Lions, do they make any moves in the draft? And if they do, is it because of Jameson Williams or is it because they were already going to do so?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to alter their board too much. I mean, again, I know we had the conversation of the possibility of a receiver at 18. If they really like a guy, they're going to take that guy regardless of what happened to J-Mo. And I mean, ultimately, I think, somewhere on day 2, they might target a receiver, maybe a Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss, maybe Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. I know that they've done some research on Tillman quite a bit, and another player that they met with was Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. So I think you can kind of connect a couple of those different players, and if they ended up waiting until day 3, I mean maybe a Trey Palmer, maybe a Parker Washington, one of those Big Ten receivers that suffered from some bad quarterback play and ultimately might do a little bit of a better job in our system and our scheme with Jared Goff under center. So I don't see them reaching for a receiver. I don't think it's a great receiver draft. I think there's some talent, obviously, in this draft, but ultimately there's a lot of slot receivers. There's no alpha in this draft. There's no Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson. So I think ultimately, are you going to really reach for a slot receiver when you kind of got that guy already with St. Brown?
What would you consider Keenan Allen? Was Keenan Allen a 1 to you, or is Keenan Allen a damn good 2 for you?
Yeah, he's interesting. I think he would be a damn good 2. I think obviously the situation changes a little bit, and there were times last year he carried that offense on his back because Mike Williams was hurt. But I think he's a darn good 2, and I think that's what it boils down to is he's a guy that if he's healthy, he can really play, and when he's not healthy, we obviously see what happens. But I think there's going to be a couple of guys that maybe fall into that line of, they're going to be darn good 2s. Jordan Addison could be one. I think Zay Flowers could be one. And ultimately, I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is also going to be a darn good 2.
That's why I asked that question, because I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is a Keenan Allen type player, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Russ, how high should Bijan Robinson be drafted? Who's going to get him?
I really think he's a top 10 pick. I think he's one of the 2 or 3 best, 2 or 3 best players in this draft. I think he's, positional value is not really a thing for me. If you're a football player, you can run the football. I can use you in a 4 to 5, 6 year span. You're a good football player. You fit on my team. That's how I view it. I know the NFL doesn't view it that way because it's about money and business and contracts, but I think when you look at Bijan, Atlanta makes a ton of sense at 8, and I really like the idea of Philly. They're at 10. I know there's been signs that they're not going to take him, but he's met with them. He talked highly of them yesterday on NFL Network. So I think he's interesting. I think he makes sense. I'm curious about Chicago at 9. I do wonder, the pairing of Justin Fields and that backfield. That would be fun. I mean, they took a running back out of Texas back in 2005 named Cedric Benson.
There you
go.
Could
they go again here? Could they go again with Bijan? So I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens, but I think he's a top 10 player, and I'd be a little surprised if he fell out.
If the big guys are gone when the Lions pick, and I mean Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, a couple quarterbacks, if they're gone, what's the harm of taking Bijan Robinson at 6?
Oh, there's not. I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I was never on board with the DeAndre Swift pick, so the fan in me I'm cool with it. And I think schematically he fits what they're looking for as far as the backfield. I mean, sure, they brought in David Montgomery, but that's a 3-year deal. You know, who's to say he doesn't regress at all in this offense, or he doesn't stay healthy in 2 years? And again, 3-year deals or 2-year deals, because you can get out of those deals fairly easy. So I think it's an interesting spot to be in, and again, I think there's a chance he could be the pick. I mean, just simply because Brad Holmes has not dismissed it. He really stood up for the fact that the Rams took Todd Gurley, and I just find that interesting. I find that odd, and I think if there's a chance that you're going to, you know, not take a running back, or you know, the conversation of the running back, you would dismiss it and say, hey, it's a deep class. We like a lot of these guys, but he likes Bijan, and he justified Gurley, and I think he could justify taking Robinson at 6.
Great stuff there, Russ. I can't let you get out of here without asking you a quarterback question. When and if, or when do they at all take a quarterback, the Detroit Lions? Do they take a quarterback at all in this draft? If so, when?
2028.
I think they take. Yeah, that's when my son graduates high school. That's great.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, no, I think they take one on, you know, somewhere in this draft. I would be really intrigued with like Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA. He's kind of my favorite. He's my favorite mid-round guy. I think when you look at what, you know, Jalen Hurts was able to do, I think there's some, you know, resemblance of his game in a poor man's way. He can really sling it. He's got some good velocity and mobility. But I mean, a lot of signs were connected to Hendon Hooker out of the Senior Bowl. They really liked him. A lot of teams obviously like him. So I mean, is there a chance that they take him at 18? I guess, but I think they're going to take one. It's just a matter of who and really when. And I think it's probably somewhere on the late portion of day 2 or somewhere on day 3.
Great stuff. Russell Brown, we cannot thank you enough.
Thanks,
we encourage everybody to hit the follow button at Russ NFL Draft. Follow him there, NFL Draft Analyst at Fantasy Pros, and, of course, Lions Wire as well. Hit his Twitter up. Let's get him to 10,000 followers maybe by the end of this. Let's go. 800 people. Let's go right now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get to 10K.
You know what time it is.
Let's get to 10K right now. All right, Russ, thanks so much. So happy for you and all your success, and thanks for doing what you're doing for us here on our show. We appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely.
Russ, have a good one, buddy.
You got it. All right, guys.
Merry Christmas.
I'm going to get a break. Yeah, no kidding. I'm going to get a break. Come right back. But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
All right, Cousins Maine Lobster. Click on that QR code, gang, because they're going to tell you exactly where those Cousin Maine Lobster food trucks are rolling around Metro Detroit. 2 of them. They're like 2 beautiful kitchens rolling around. They could be in your neighborhood. If you haven't had Cousins Maine Lobster, you're in for a treat. If you love seafood, that is the place for you. Forget about these restaurants. This place is going to cook it right there for you. It's like being in New England, except you're right here in Detroit, USA. It's cousinsmainelobster.com. Make sure you tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube. Of course, I want to thank everybody who hit that like button for us. Dang, we're well over 200 likes on Twitter. Let's see if we can get to on YouTube. Let's see if we can get to over 250. Let's keep going. What the hell? Why not? Go to Go to woodwardsports.com for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise. Thanks to everybody who is watching Woodward Sports. Maybe you're at home on your couch watching on your TV. Maybe you're Bluetooth into the car with your phone. Maybe you're watching on your phone. Maybe you're at work on your computer. However you're doing it, you can watch Woodward Sports.
By the way,
or listen.
I think Russ is ESPN ready, if you ask me.
He's very good.
Kid knows his stuff.
I really like him a lot. Really like him a lot.
He's got very concise. His information is on point. You can tell he has bullet points for his information. He riles it off. He's ready for the next question. He takes his time. Hey, smoke.
He's a grinder too, man. The guy works his tail off, and really appreciate him taking some time out to join us here on Woodward Sports. One of the things I wanted to go back to something he said about the quarterback, and I think they will take one at some point this draft too. But when will they take that quarterback? If they grab,
let's get a backup first.
If they grabbed Hendon Hooker, one of the things that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have both talked about is they've been open with Jared Goff about this. And I do think it is, and we talked about this, Braylon, a lot as a professional athlete. You just want these guys to be honest with you.
Transparency.
You don't want to take Jordan Love and not say anything to Aaron Rodgers about it. Yeah. I do think there is any competent organization would have a conversation with their quarterback, their starting quarterback, about their future plans and why they feel they need to take a quarterback, whether it's a fourth-round pick, a second-round pick, a first-round pick, a sixth-round pick.
True. When I was my first year in Cleveland was 2005. In 2006, they drafted Travis Wilson, who was a receiver out of Oklahoma. He had a pretty good sophomore year, decent junior year. He came on early, but they drafted him, and I was like, y'all could have told me y'all were, in the draft in the wide receiver. Now, obviously, you can have as many as 6 wide receivers at a time, 7 wide receivers, so it's much different. But even I felt to a certain extent like why wasn't I communicating with? So I definitely can understand why Aaron was. He felt the type of way. He felt like they had, built a situation where there was starting to be some trust with the organization, and then they draft Jordan Love. So I definitely would have been pissed, but, it's Jordan Love. It's not like you had Patrick Mahomes and somebody staring down your neck.
Hey, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, he had his press conference today. We'll try to get you some clips for that tomorrow if there's anything interesting. But one of the reporters asked him, this is a different one, but one of the reporters asked him, what's the best cell number to reach you at? And he says, ask Adam Schefter.
Yeah, I like it.
And then, remember he told Schefter, lose my number.
But who was that talking to us? Who do we have on there that said that Aaron's quirkiness, that type of sarcasm, super dry, you got to admit,
it was Jeff Risdon.
But he's 100% right though. Like that New York humor, that dry New York humor, that SNL, that Vince Vaughn, that real super Kevin Nealon type humor.
He'll be hosting SNL.
Oh, before the season starts. Before the season starts, and I guarantee you, when's the next Knicks? And it's tonight.
Yeah, it's at Cleveland.
It was at Cleveland?
It's at Cleveland tonight.
You sure? What is it, 3-1?
3-1 Knicks.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, I got a good true.
Because he definitely was going to get the next Knicks game.
I got a good true or false question about the NBA. You ready for this?
You can't ask anything about the NBA.
Why?
Because you don't like the NBA.
I love the NBA. I'm an NBA guy.
I had a whole breakdown yesterday.
Break it down.
I'm not interested yet, though. It's still early.
Hey, do your true or false.
But it was 56 points.
Yeah,
let him do true or false. Playoff Jimmy.
Here's my one NBA true or false.
Playoff Jimmy.
It's a bunch of good ones now.
You ready?
I'm ready.
The Sacramento Kings will not win another game in the series. Is that true or false?
False.
Okay.
That's false.
All right.
That's false.
That's false. De'Aaron Fox, man, he's a different type of player. He's going to play, even though his finger's messed up. We know he's not at his best, but, you can't make up how they were on the road. Right? You can't make up how they were on the road. I'm going with Sacramento wins one more game.
Would you lay a little something on the Bucks to win that series or no?
Hell no.
Not a penny.
Not a penny.
No.
Not a dime. If they come back and
They
win,
already cost me my money.
yeah.
Would you lay a little something on the Cavs? Both teams. By the way, I'm just saying this because
Right.
both teams
I
are
would
down
not.
3-1.
I think the Knicks are better.
Absolutely not.
This is so great.
Absolutely
I
not.
love it. All right, guys. Break time. But first, a message from the Folding
How
Warehouse.
about the Devils? No. Okay. All right, the Folding Warehouse in
hockey?
Hamtramck. Lay some money down there. It's not a lot. $12 unlimited open play. That's all it could cost you. $12 to play folding all day long. Or a private lane reservation on those busy nights. Because you can get a lane for 2 hours for $120, 10 or 12 people on a lane. You do the math. I'll do it for you. It's less than $10 per person. That's pretty cheap to play a great game of football and bowling. And if you're thirsty, they got you covered. Multiple full bars and over 100 beers on that menu. And if you only got $2 left to your name, throw it in that $2 mystery beer machine. You might get something that you really like. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness.
Not time is not yet. It's
What?
not the best time yet because we need your mic open.
My mic is it not open?
Oh, there
you
it
guys
is.
can hear me?
Now I can.
I heard you.
Oh, I had my
Hey, man, would you hush up
I had
there?
my earpiece down. I
Hey.
apologize, JV.
It must be 350.
Well, even though you weren't right, now is the time.
Now it is, baby.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness because the gym that has always been known for being clean is cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. But the best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10 a month. Join Planet Fitness in club today, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards, man. I'm taking over because this guy done checked off the reservation.
Harold Williams on the chat says Bucks are going to win the series, and you can bet on them tonight. I do like betting on them tonight, though. I'll take the Bucks tonight.
And here's the thing, too. He absolutely might be correct. I mean, you got the best player in the NBA on the best team statistically, so they could win.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in terms of putting money on it, absolutely
They
not.
made it hard on themselves.
Thank you, 100%. It's tough to win 3 in a row, no matter who you
got to
are.
win tonight, though.
Trae Young? Oh,
I know.
Excuse me.
Oh, how about that?
He threw a Steph Curry shot up there.
He doesn't care. But the crazy thing about it is, like, this team, like, didn't embrace him. Like, it was like he hit the shot. Like, he hit a shot in Boston,
That was beautiful.
of all places. As soon as he crossed half in Jaylen Brown's face, Jaylen Brown's 6'9". Ice Trey's like 6 foot even.
Well, the knock on him is that he's gotten 3 coaches fired already in like 4 years. That is the knock on him.
3 bums.
Yeah, right, fair enough.
3 bums.
Hey, Maz, did you lead me off here?
Yeah.
This Colorado situation in college football is pretty interesting.
First of all, did you
isn't
see the spring game?
Loved it. I love this guy.
Last year,
I'm getting a Colorado hat, actually.
They showed
I'm
you.
gonna buy a
They showed you
Colorado
before
hat.
and after. Last year's spring game probably had
100
1,000 people in it. 1,000, and then they showed this year's, and it was sold out, packed. So Deion's got the people in Colorado more excited than Mel Tucker when he was there. But you remember his opening presser, and it wasn't even his presser. It was his talking to his team, his kids.
His first team meeting.
Yes.
Full team meeting.
And he's like, a lot of you guys aren't going to be here.
He's right.
Well, 13 guys packed up and are transferring. Let's take that. This is step
After the
one.
spring game, though, that's what I just don't understand. Like, that is not usual. Now, he's a first-year coach. I think 13 guys transferring when he takes over and you realize you don't have a place, that's fine. That's great. It's fair game. It's college football today. Deion's been there for months now, though, and the spring game happened. So what happened after the spring game that 13 guys transferred? That is unusual.
It's called competition, and let me get us a try. Like, just because, like, Deion Sanders came to your institution and took over as head coach, like, and is telling you, I'm changing things around this program. This program will be competitive. This program will get to the next level. This is Deion Sanders you're talking to, and you're talking about kids. I'm just not going to up and transfer just because Deion Sanders is coming. In fact, I'm actually going to stay, and I'm going to see what the process is like. I'm going to see, hey, what the strength and conditioning program is like, what the wide receivers coach is like. Do I have a chance in this offense? Like, shoot, let me go through spring ball. Let me see if I have a chance to make it on this team. And if I don't, once I put all that work in, then I'll enter the transfer portal and I'll see what comes up. Because also, entering your name in the transfer portal does not mean you'll leave. It just means you test the market. You see, hey, let me see what's going on. So
you ain't testing no market. Deion Sanders is involved.
I understand that,
He's
but
going to be like,
to answer your question, you see what the process is like, and then once you finish, if you don't feel like you made the team, it's like, shoot, I'm out of here. But it's Deion. Like, how many opportunities are you going to get to play for an individual like Deion Sanders? You're going to go through the process just because.
Now, here's the kicker to this. The kids are transferring. But when you transfer, other teams want to see your plays. They want to see the video. Well, a couple of these kids are going out on Twitter and saying, hey, I'm sorry, but the coach at Colorado is not giving me the stuff I need to show you.
I love how I called him the Colorado coach. For the coaches who are trying to recruit me, I am sorry, but I will not be able to get y'all film from my practices last season since I am not allowed to have it because the head coach at CU won't allow it. This is very unlucky. And if you have any questions, just text me. That is so
Look at Deion with that cowboy hat. Just cracks
great. I do not agree with that.
Who's
though.
the new sheriff in town?
If they're transferring, get them out of here. Help them out. If they're transferring, help them go somewhere else. Give them their tape. That's just easy.
Chances are they transferring from a team that's 1-11. They tape ain't that good no way.
Well, either way.
Tape ain't that good no way.
That's why it's practice tape. That's why it's practice.
Look at his jacket.
What did Deion say when they first got there? He said, shoot, if y'all was that good, when you say something, he says, if y'all was that good, I wouldn't be here.
Right, exactly.
His jacket says prime. I mean, this guy is out there, man.
I mean,
I feel like this is a TV show.
This is the first thing Deion Sanders has ever done as a coach. If true, I always preface, if true, it's the first thing Deion Sanders has done as a coach that I don't like. Because I'm rooting for the guy like crazy. Right. I'm going to buy a Colorado hat. I think he's great for college football. I think he's great for the young men in the game. I don't like that.
I think also, too, everything with a grain of salt. I need to figure out what exactly is going on, because if he's trying to get practice film from last year, Deion wasn't even there last year, and that practice film has no bearing on what Deion's team is going to be this year. So if that's the case, Deion's wrong. But I got to find out and make sure that's the case, because he might be trying to get this year's, and this year's is going to be Deion's offense.
Well,
and
that's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
If this is practice and these are my plays that I'm running, you may not have that.
Exactly.
No, you may not have that video. But this is a coach that's not there anymore. This is a completely different offense. This is a completely different place. If it is 2022 Colorado offense, there you go. You know what I mean? Take 10 plays that this kid has done in practice.
He's just busting chops.
I love it, though. I cannot believe that there isn't a Power 5 school out there that did not make that call earlier. I mean, he's already won. He has already won, and he has not stepped foot on in a game yet.
You know why?
Okay,
it's the respect.
It's prime time.
It's not only the respect in terms of Power 5 conferences, in terms of major programs. You're talking about like major schools, right?
I'm talking about major school. I'm not talking about like low, I'm talking about a major school. Right.
None of those major schools respect HBCUs. So they see the success that Deion had in HBCU. They saw Jackson State. They see the graduation rate. They see the players getting better. They don't care about that because they don't respect that type of football. They don't respect that brand of football. So when they look at Deion, it was going to take the right Power 5 school to look past the HBCU, to look past the level of competition and say, you know what? I like what Deion represents. I like you see the bigger picture. Colorado saw the bigger picture. Colorado was like, man, we ain't got nothing to lose. We suck.
And they've sold out their season tickets.
100%. So Colorado saw, even if we lose, we won. That's how Colorado saw it. But it took that type of team for that to happen. Because teams that actually believe they have a chance to win, they're not calling Deion Sanders until he wins at now, if he wins at Colorado, then it's different. Then they'll look at it like, okay, he won that D1 program. He won in the Pac-12. Hell, he won 10 games in the Pac-12. Now you'll start to get those phone calls from a Texas A&M, from a Texas, from a Florida State. Florida State is where it all.
I heard Stephen A. Smith say this, and I give him full credit for it. I did not even consider this until he said it, but he said every person should be, especially every African American, should be rooting for Deion Sanders to succeed.
Hell yeah.
There were a number of people who did not like the fact that he left the HBCU.
I agree.
So he said, if you are rooting against him because of that, you're wrong. Because if Deion succeeds, any coach that does anything in an HBCU, especially if he has big success, will now get a look at a bigger school, and he will have that opportunity to just continue to take coaches and players and help them grow and make life better for his own family and the families of so many other coaches that have come through those schools. So everybody should be rooting for Deion, absolutely.
Yeah, the people that were arguing, the black individuals he's talking about arguing on that behalf, those are the people that we have to apologize for because they don't get it. They don't understand the bigger picture. The bigger picture is if this works, it becomes its own factory. Funnel of coaches. That's how everybody else is having success. Oh, let me fall off the Urban Meyer tree. Let me fall off the Lincoln Riley tree. Let me fall off the Brian Kelly tree. If this works, now you got the Deion Sanders tree.
Absolutely, no doubt. Guys, got to get a break in, but not before a message from Alta.
Yes, sir. At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call. Do it today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. 844-GO. The number 2, Alta.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Guys, final segment of the show. Hopefully you will be joining us tomorrow, be it at 5th Avenue for our Woodward Sports Draft Show, or
which is right down the street.
Right back here on woodwardsports.com on YouTube. We will be live broadcasting for the NFL Draft.
Hey, yesterday, Braylon said there would be 3 knockouts.
I was close.
In the NBA. He was close. Wasn't for Trae Young, you would have had it. So Atlanta survived, but Denver finished off Minnesota, and the Suns knocked off the Clippers. And then after that game, Kawhi Leonard, I think he has a officially a sprained MCL in his knee anyway, so it wouldn't have worked anyway.
Yeah, as it relates to Kawhi Leonard, look, he's definitely injured. No one is questioning his injury. You know, you see all the analysts talk about it. You see everybody's done their homework. They've reached out to the Clippers organization. They've done their homework. He's an injured guy. It is what it is. He stays injured. They don't know how he's able to play when he does play. Guys see him score 38, and then it's like, oh, he hasn't played. So I think it's gonna be interesting what Steve Ballmer does, but he can't move on for him and his money. But the Celtics. Maz, Jason Tatum, that is the same thing we saw last year in the finals that made us question Jason Tatum. Everybody wants to make Jason Tatum the number one player in the league, or he's up for MVP. This is the guy the league is trying to make Jason Tatum that guy to compete with these foreign players for the MVP. Guess what? When you go 19 and 9-9 on closing games to the freaking Atlanta Hawks, you can't become that guy. Same guy we saw that we didn't trust in the finals last year. They should have beat the Warriors last year, but Jason Tatum didn't show up, and he's not showing up now. It doesn't look good for the Celtics.
Hey, tonight you got the Knicks up 3-1 against the Cavs. See if the Knicks can close it out. I say probably not. Grizzlies host the Lakers. They're down 3-1. Will the Grizz win that game? I doubt it. Bucks down 3-1. That one you could bank on. They play the Heat in Miami.
The last time you've been banking on
and the Dubs and the Kings 2-2. Going back to is it going to Golden State or Sacktown?
Sacktown.
2-2.
It's in Sack now. It's in Sack. I believe Kings win this one. I think with the Heat, I think the Heat will beat the Bucks and close it out. And the reason why. Nobody did anything for the Miami Heat the last game, with the exception of Jimmy Butler. A lot of rested guys for that Miami Heat team. Watch out for them to make a move in the Cavs. Come on, Donovan Mitchell. You can't score 70 during the season and score 2 in the second half of an NBA playoff game.
NHL tonight, Bruins can close out Florida up 3-1, and Seattle and the Avalanche tied at 2 apiece in that one. And here's the Leafs. They play tomorrow, but here's their last 5, including this series. Their last 5 series that they could have closed out, and they have lost the last 4 of them. And a couple of them, they were up 3-1.
Ooh, 2021.
They are up 3-1 on Tampa Bay right now. For the Toronto Maple Leafs to break this jinx, they have just got to finish off the Lightning here and do it quick.
Unbelievable.
The poor Toronto fans need this. I mean, I know Detroiters are supposed to hate Toronto. But how do you not feel sorry for the fans?
I don't hate Toronto.
I call Toronto they're the Lions of hockey.
Tom T is one of my best friends.
1967.
I'm rooting for them. I want them to win. You like to see you like to see major brands, major teams, franchise. You like to see them break the curse, man. You like when the Cubs won. You don't even have to be a Cubs fan for you to be happy when the Cubs won. Same thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs, man. Break the curse, get it going. I think Austin Matthews is a damn good player that deserves to see a conference finals.
I wish this game wasn't tomorrow night, the Toronto Maple Leafs game. I wish it wasn't tomorrow night because there's a lot going on tomorrow night. I am rooting for Edmonton. I'm glad they got the win last night. I think Toronto-Edmonton, again, I'll keep saying it, would be the greatest matchup for hockey to move the NHL forward.
Only problem is there's no American teams in it, so no American cities will watch.
Toronto and Rangers, I think, would be the greatest.
There you go.
Well, that'd be a conference final.
That'd be conference final, yeah.
It's okay.
All right, gang. Bray, get us out of here. Great day today. Great day.
Well, you know what time it is. Tomorrow we will be here first, but then
it's a pregame show tomorrow.
Exactly. It's a pregame show here, and then we will be at the 5th at 7:30. We'll have a great time. Everybody will be there. You'll see No Rule as well as Adam Baydoun. We'll be getting after it, and the people at WoodwardSports.com. But also tonight, if you're free, turn on Fox 2. You might see somebody you recognize.
Braylon Edwards
and it's
tonight.
not Ryan Ermanni. I will be on there with Let It Rip with my man Charlie Langston. We will be talking about the Jameson Williams situation. You already know what side I'm on, so tune in. You'll see what's going on.
10:30 tonight.
Yeah, we recorded it. I apologize. The show at 10:30. We recorded a little.
Did you already do it?
So what?
Good night, everybody.
Well, we'll see you guys now. I'm sorry. I'm over here. JB, let's get started.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.